Gonna start this off. Welcome to the show.
It's not
Bunch of fucking bullshit.
It's not
Shut up!
turntablism. It's hip-hop.
I hate you so much.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Dude, I fucking hate that.
DJ Khaled. Yeah. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Ludacris going in on the verse cause I never been defeated and I won't stop now.
Fuck yeah. We back up in this bitch. We back up in this bitch.
Gatorade. Gatorade.
Had to drop a DJ Khaled because of our sick new soundboard clips. Welcome back again to Things I Hate. Back from hiatus number 2, you know. We got homeboy Schmaltz up in the spot. Look at this animal. What a good animal. And we got me. I'm back. I'm scared and terrified again of doing this. You know, it's been a while. I don't know how this is supposed to feel, but I'm also really excited to get back to posting some fucking clips. That's going to be fun. So welcome. I'm your host, Tom Murphy. If you're joining us for the first time, this is a podcast about my life and the things that I think about, you know, as if we didn't already have enough of those on the fucking internet. But, you know, whatever. Here's my 2 cents. I use this as a medium, a venue to test my jokes and to see if the things that I say are funny and hopefully have some fun along the way. This is my dog Schmaltz. He's wonderful and excellent, and he sheds a lot. Schmaltz, say hello. No, he's not much of a talker. Okay. Yes, good dog. Great. Every episode has features me holding this notebook full of things that I think about. It used to be a bunch of shit that pissed me off, but you know, I went through personal growth. I don't hate as many things, and I love a lot of things. So, you know, don't take the title too literally. So, anyway, here we are. We got a new background, right? Same old great landmarks, unknown Jewish memorabilia. And the things I hate, I cut it out from the fucking homemade tapestry that was behind me. I'm working on getting a frame for it, but the frame costs like almost $200. And I'm like, Jesus, this is like a piece of garbage sheet, you know? Like, God, I don't really want to spend $200 on framing a garbage sheet. But I got to do something about it. This is some B-League shit, so I got to figure it out. And then we have, look at this, beautiful fan artwork I got for my birthday. This is of the old show, The Giggle Den, which official announcement, unfortunately, is no more for the time being. I don't think it will come back. I did love doing The Giggle Den. It was a show I ran out of my backyard of my apartment. It was pretty fucking lit. Biggest audience we had was like 100 people. Pretty great. But I won't do it anymore for 2 reasons. Because I moved, right, to the beautiful NDG, gorgeous. And also, I don't really want to be a producer. I want to be a writer and creator. So that's what I'm focusing on, writing and creating. So won't be producing a lot of shows, I don't think. So sorry to all the Giggle Den fans. I love you guys. You guys are so great. And a couple people messaged me, be like, what's good with the Giggle Den? But, you know, I moved. I'm trying to write. Just not in the cards. So Giggle Den officially over. Sucks to say, but say la vie. Neat. But on a positive note, Things I Hate is back. So win, win, win. You know, great. Okay. I mean, let's get into it, I suppose. IKEA speed builders. Caitlin and I got a bunch of IKEA furniture. We got 7 shelves. 7 IKEA shelves. Like sorry, we got 7 copies of the same IKEA shelf. And we were building it so many times, I was like, yo, you should start timing me. And so, then I would beat like my personal best on how fast I could build these IKEA shelves because it was 7 copies. Then turns out there are IKEA speed building competitions. So, yeah, if you hit rock bottom, just remember that somebody's racing to build an IKEA furniture faster than somebody else. Got to be mostly divorced men at those things. I can't imagine a lot of familial support for a career as an IKEA speed builder. Got to be mostly divorced. Like, who would that be? It's definitely all like Scandinavian. Let's do a quick Google. IKEA. I need a fucking producer. Building comps. I actually do have. Part of the reason it took so long to get Things I Hate back was, well, here, I'll tell you in a minute. Okay. Building an IKEA chair. Think you're good at assembling. Wait, no. Chaotic. Let's see. Building an IKEA chair competition. Oh, these are some fucking nerds doing it. No, I know there was a... Yeah, IKEA furniture speed building world record attempt. IKEA speed run. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. IKEA world records. Fuck. All right. Honestly, should have done my research before this. I thought there was a competition. I'm having a hard time finding it now. So, never mind. Just a fun idea. Lit. Check 1. Clip that. Clip failed research. Failed research attempts at IKEA speedrun furniture. Schmaltz, I need your backup here. Okay, storm doors. Let's move on. Or here, I'll tell you. So, yeah, why did Things I Hate why was Things I Hate gone for so long? Because I just got busy, man. Like, it's just hard to, it's hard to write jokes. It's hard to produce a show when I was still doing Giggle Den. Have a full-time job that is, like, not, flipping burgers. Like, nothing wrong with flipping burgers, but, like, I mean to say, like, a full-time job that requires mental effort. It's not, you can't just, like, check out. And then have a girlfriend, I'm dating my girlfriend. I love her very much. But it's my first real adult relationship, Last relationship I had, I was like 22 and I was a fucking child. You look back and you're just like, last relationship I had, she was 18, I was 22. So classic, like, graduating high school, like, university guy, except I wasn't even in university. I had flunked out of university. So, really had a lot going for me. But I flunked out, and then we were dating for like a year. And then, anyway, long story short, I couldn't get over her. I couldn't get over her for like 7 or 8 years. I had to go to therapy to figure it out. And it was all tied into like, ooh, like, I'm insecure and I needed like this woman to validate me, and I needed a girlfriend to validate me. And it was a whole fucking thing. So as I came out of that in the last, 2 to 3, 4 years, like, I came out of that and I was at a point where I could actually have an adult relationship. And now I'm in one. But an adult relationship has things like responsibility, which is pretty new to me. Because the other thing, too, is, like, you go and live on your own. Like, you do whatever the fuck you want, Many of you who might listen to this have been in my apartment or my old apartment. It was, like, it was cool, but it was, like, kind of a shithole, Because, like, I didn't care about a lot of things. It's like a guy's apartment, it gets dirty, whatever. And it was also, like, kind of a shithole apartment in general. I think the dog just farted. Stinky. But it's like you don't care about those things. You don't even like living with a roommate. If you live on your own, you just do whatever you want. If you live with a roommate, you have to like take other people's thoughts into consideration, you know, which is like new to me. You know, I'm the youngest boy, so I got spoiled a lot. And then I spent a lot of time on my own when I was in high school. So it's just like you don't really get used to thinking about other people, which is, you know, as shitty as it sounds. But it's like, and then if you live with roommates, you like, I definitely wasn't a great roommate. I was like maybe a 6 on 10, you know, like a 6, 7 on 10. I'll give myself that. You know what I mean? But definitely a passing grade, but not outstanding by any stretch. But anyway, so, you know, oh my God, he's farting right on me. But anyway, so yeah, when you live with people, you have to consider their feelings. When you live with roommates, it's not as big of a deal because it's just like, okay, well, like, yes, I'm living with you, but if shit goes south, I'll just leave. Like, I don't have an emotional attachment to you beyond, like, we're friends, which is still, you know, important. But you know what I'm saying? It's different when you're dating somebody. When you're dating somebody and live with them, you're like, well, I'm dating you. I love you. You're my partner. And as such, I at least owe you consideration of your thoughts and feelings. Whereas, like, I feel like so much of my life, so much of this podcast truly is basically like, fuck you, I don't give a shit. Like, in a way, right? It's like things I hate. It's like the premise is basically like everyone around me is a fucking idiot and let me tell you why, which is like incredibly immature, you know? And like naive, I guess, you know, but that's where I was at when I started this shit. And that's part of that will always be part of me, you know. But yeah, like when you're in a relationship, you can't have that attitude. You can't just be like a lot of what me and Caitlin fight about sometimes, I'll be like, well, that's not important. Like, that doesn't fucking matter. And it's like, well, if your partner says it's important, like, dog, you better fucking believe it's important. You know what I mean? Because it's important to them. So if it's important to them and they're your partner, you have to consider it, you know? You can't just be like, I don't care about that. So I'm not going to address it. And like, that was a big change for me to look at something and be like, wow, I don't care about that at all. And then have to be like, but I need to spend mental power on it. You know, there's a lot of jokes. I see like a lot of memes about, like, I saw one and it was like men doing psychedelics and coming to like emotional and intuitive realizations that like women understood at age 12, you know? And I've really been feeling that lately. I'm no fucking simp, okay? I'm no fucking simp. Don't come at me in the comments for simping it up. All right? Fucking, I don't know what the non-toxic opposite of simp. I don't want to be like, I'm a Chad. I guess a Chad is good, but I'm not a simp. I'm not simping on ladies, but I am saying from experience that I have felt emotionally retarded around my girlfriend, you know, comparatively, you know, in a lot of ways. In some ways, no, but in many ways, yes. So, you know, lit. Storm doors. Why does every building have storm doors if only one is ever open, you know? For those of you who don't know the history of this podcast, I'm pretty anal about like sidewalk etiquette, right? You walk on the right side of the sidewalk. You don't walk 3 abreast. And if you're walking, you know, multiple people abreast, then you fucking give way when there's other people walking, right? You like fall in behind your friends. I'm anal about this. I feel like the rules are clear. I feel like everyone kind of knows the rules and some people choose to ignore or follow them, right? The storm door annoyance is adjacent to that because it's like storm doors, there's always 2 doors, right? There's always 2 doors. So it's like perfect. That's great because there's always like two directions of traffic, right? Like coming and going, you know, just like on a road, like you drive on the right and then oncoming drives on the left. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's how it should be. If there's two doors, you exit the right door and people entry or people, you know, it's like you stick to the right with the doors too. There's two passages. You stick to the right when you're going through a 2-door doorway. But every time you go to a location that has storm doors, one is always closed. And I'm always that fucking guy who like goes like pushes heavily into the right door just to be like as it's closed, you know? And I'm just like, why do we always have two if one is closed? Open them up, you know? What is it? Is it like wear and tear on the door? They don't want to wear and tear it out, you know? Like, why? What would it be? What would it be, and why would you have two if you're only going to use one? Like, gotta have two, I'm sure, for some kind of fire safety thing, right? But why not just open it up? Is it just laziness? Is it just they don't want to flick the switch that puts the metal post into the ground so you can't open it? You know, it's like storm doors have that thing inside of it that you click down so that you can't open it. Is it just people don't want to switch that? It can't be. I fucking hope not. Anyway, this is a call to open all double storm doors. God, disgusting. So the deal was with her. Okay, this is the other thing she does. This is like a real intro to Caitlin. But it's like, she's a picker girlfriend. Like, she loves to pick at my blemishes on my skin, whether it's a zit or a new word that I learned because of how often she finds and picks them, Amelia, which is some kind of dead skin in your pore. Truly, like, next to invisible, right? That's the thing. The blemishes on my body are, like, not noticeable, objectively. I have pretty good skin, you know, some small zits every once in a while. Objectively, not very noticeable, okay? To Caitlin, you'd think I'd walking around with a fucking stamp that says, like, my skin is fucked up, you know? Like, you'd think they'd be growths just hanging off of my face, you know? Like, open wounds, gaping sores, oozing pus. Sometimes when I shave my face, I have small cuts on my neck. You'd think I was in a knife fight, according to Caitlin. You know, she's like, oh, you're bleeding everywhere. There's wounds. You're wounded. Today we were going for a walk and she was like, oh God, you really sliced the shit out of your neck this morning, you know? Can you see the wounds on my neck? This happened today. Can you see? No, you cannot. Okay. Anyway, she's a picker. She likes to pick. So she always likes to pops my zits and stuff. She is a redhead, which I think genetically have some kind of like pain tolerance gene, right? So she feels nothing. I am incredibly sensitive emotionally and physically. So I feel pain deeply and often when I'm watching Disney movies or when I stub my toe, right? But what results is that she'll squeeze the ever-living shit out of my skin and then get mad at me when I protest, you know? She squeezed the fuck out of my zits, just ruthless. And it hurts so much. And I'm like, ow. And she goes, shut up. Shut up. And then she beats me. She punched me. She goes, shut up, you little shit. No, she doesn't do that. That's okay. Don't call 911. But she fucking squeezes the pants off of me, you know? She squeezes the things, and they're bleeding and painful. And I'm just like, Jesus. I love her. She's so great. Perfectionism is a battle against entropy. I'm a perfectionist. I think it fucks up my life a lot, you know? Because it's unattainable. Sometimes people talk about perfectionism as like a good thing because it means you strive for greatness. It's not, right? To me, it's a cousin of anxiety, right? Because it is attempting to obtain something that does not exist. There's no such thing as perfect. There is no, like, how can I explain this? There's no sphere, right? Imagine science spends decades to try to create the perfect metallic sphere, right? A perfect sphere with no imperfections on the edge. That does not exist. That's impossible, right? Because what would that mean to exist? It would mean that, like, it's infinite. Like, let's say the perfect sphere exists. You always need to define perfect, right? In our case of the metal sphere, it's like perfect means no variation in circumference up to a certain tolerance level, right? Like, perfect means there can be no like bumps or notches along the surface greater than, say, like 0.001 millimeters, like that's perfection. Is like, well, this sphere does not have any bumps greater than a millimeter, or like 0.01 millimeters, right? There's some definition. So, but like if you were to say abstractly, give me a perfect sphere, and they gave you this thing, they're like, well, this sphere has no bumps greater than 0.001 millimeters. You could still be like, well, but there's still bumps, right? And it's like, how would you get rid of that? Go down to a sphere that has no bumps at no level? That's infinite, right? When would you stop measuring the height? It would be like, okay, well, this sphere has no bumps at 0.000000001 millimeters. And they're like, yeah, but what about beyond that, right? Well, okay, this one has 0.2 millimeters. Okay, what about beyond that, beyond that, right? It's impossible. It's impossible to get a, quote, perfect sphere with no imperfections, because at some point there's going to be a variance, and if there's no variance ever, that feels like it would create a black hole or something. Anyway, the point is that, like, perfection doesn't exist, right? Something to be abstractly perfect, it's not real. You can't have like a perfect thing, like this is just like a perfect, like perfect always comes with a definition, which then shifts us into the realm of like goal setting, but I say like perfectionism is a battle against entropy is because it's like entropy is like the natural order of things to, like, quote, disperse, I think, which was how it was told to me in grade school. It's like why things, I'm not going to do a good job of explaining it, but it's like why things spread out, or why things don't hold together. Like when you build a building, you're fighting against entropy, right? Because naturally these buildings, these bricks, these materials would not naturally form into the shape of a building, right? It takes energy and input to push them up against the force of entropy, which in this case is like generally just gravity, right? To like arrange them in such a way that they're fighting the entropy of the gravitational force, which would be to kind of knock them down and spread them flat, And perfectionism is a fight against that, right? Because there's nothing in the natural world that's perfect, according to like again, there's no perfect spheres in nature. There's no perfect building in nature, because there are no buildings in nature, right? Entropy is the natural order to spread out, to like kind of degrade, to corrode, anytime. And on a more like understandable level, I'm like, like coming to engineering, like let's say you're trying to build the perfect car, right? The perfect car. You need to contain like chemical combustion. You need to harness chemical combustion in such a way to output like usable power. What an insane concept, right? I'm going to make many small explosions per minute such that I can be propelled forward on wheels. Insane. Like, think of how far that concept is from the natural world, right? Like how far we had to come, like refining minerals, like extracting petroleum, all that shit to get to a car, right? And if you're trying to build the perfect car, you are constantly fighting against like the soot buildup of the explosions in the pistons. You're fighting against the corrosion of the water on the road and the salt corroding the vehicle. You're fighting against the wearing down of the tires, right? It's all these factors, which is basically the school of engineering, right? Is like how can we as humans fight against entropy, which is actively trying to tear down like our civilization, on a very slow scale, It's just like if you put a fruit out, it's going to rot, right? And like science and engineering is like, okay, well, let's add preservatives to the fruit so it doesn't rot. And let's get a fridge so it doesn't rot. Like all this shit. And I think like there's value in fighting entropy so we can live in comfort, But perfectionism is this futile belief that humans can kill entropy, that humans can stop entropy, right? There's no stopping the rotting of a fruit. There's no stopping the corrosion of metal. There's no stopping of the gradual degradation of buildings, Entropy exists. It will always exist. Like things will always kind of settle back to their natural order over time. And the thought that you can kill entropy and have it dead and have it never be a thought, because that's really what perfectionism is, the way I see it. And sometimes in my life, I'm trying to organize and categorize and, construct and build my life such that I never have to think about problems again, right? Problems. I never have to think about situations. I never have to think about the fruit rotting because I've designed some kind of system with my fridge such that fruit never rots. I never have to think about brushing my teeth because, like I have some fucking system teeth where I can just brush it every night. I never have to think about refilling my water bottle. It's like, no, it's like you cannot kill entropy. You will always be faced with the idea of like that the outside world affects you and you have to face it and deal with it. And I think perfectionism for me was like, how can I build a set of systems such that I never need to use my brain for anything that I don't really want to ever again, right? Like a form of procrastination or a form of laziness or whatever, or a form of like responsibility avoidance. How can I set up my life such that I don't need to think about anything mundane or anything I don't want to, right? That was kind of perfectionism for me. It was like, let me develop a set of systems such that I don't touch it ever again. And it just works for me for infinity. And that's what I'm talking about, is like that perfectionism is a battle with entropy because it's impossible. And so it's like, I phrased it like this because it's like, once I realized that this was really me fighting against the universe, right? Or like the natural order of things, I was like, what a futile and stupid gesture, to steal the title from the Netflix movie. What a futile thing to try to fight against nature, So, because it just, it would get me I get so anxious and riddled and just wrapped up in like, I gotta just fucking, if I can, it was like the thought of like, if I can just make it perfect, I'll never be stressed again. And that doesn't exist, right? And that's what I mean, like that would be killing entropy. If I can just make it perfect, no, if I can just make it perfect, it'd be a black hole and the whole world would implode, because it's like, no, things will always happen. You always need to face them. You cannot just put your head in the sand. This was very much like a spiritual, emotional thing too, because it's like I have a tendency to avoid. I think we all do, right? And it was kind of like, if I can build again systems like perfectly enough, I won't be faced with those challenges again. But that's just not true, right? Challenges will come all the time, everywhere, and you have to face them always. You can't just ignore them. So just a neat little thought I had. Clean for the cleaning lady. Okay, great. So again, with my girlfriend Caitlin, I love her so much. She likes a clean house, man. Don't fuck around. You know, I'm not good at it. Talking about, you know, avoiding tasks. Don't like to clean. You know, not a good cleaner. Back of my mind, I can't fucking do it. I get overwhelmed. You know, there's no reason to. Cleaning is pretty easy, especially if you do it, you know, routinely and not all in one go. I had this thought where I was like, I can't clean it all during the week. I'm too overwhelmed. No, I can't. I have to clean everything on the week. I'll do a big clean on the weekend, but that's just so insanely stressful because you just put off all the cleaning shit until it becomes like an 8-hour job. Whereas if you just did like 1 to 2 hours a night in the week, you're laughing. You know what I mean? And so that's what I was doing the whole time. And Caitlin would be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, keep the house clean. I'm like, I'll do a big clean. And she's like, we can't wait all week for the house to be so shitty and dirty. Like, we have to keep it up. And I was like, okay, fair. But anyway, so we'd get into fights about the cleaning, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, finally, I was like, okay, I'm shit at cleaning. I'm going to get better at it. But I'm also like, let's get a cleaning lady. And that way, this will be less of an issue, you know? So we did. And it was good for a while. You know, we don't have one right now. We got rid of her for the time being. But what ended up happening is we had to clean for the cleaning lady. Because Caitlin she'd be like, well, we can't have the house messy for when the cleaning lady. Because the thing is, like, look, cards on the table. You think cleaning lady, you're like, cool, a servant, you know, like cool, like not a slave. A slave is too hardcore. But like a servant, like clean my house, right? But it's not the 1800s, right? If it was the 1800s, you could just do whatever the fuck you want, you know? You just like fucking shit on the floor and they clean it up, servants. But the thing is, we don't live in a caste society anymore. We don't live in a fucking, like feudal society where like certain classes of people are below other classes. No. Everyone is equal, which is good. But the thing is that like, like you now are like, fuck. A person is coming over who is not less than me, who is an equal human. So I can't just leave a shithole for them, even though they're cleaning it up. I have to do kind of some of the base cleanup. So we got this cleaning lady so that we wouldn't fight about cleaning. But then we ended up having some fights about cleaning to clean up for the cleaning lady. So it's just like, damn, can't escape it. Anyway, it's good now. Long story short is like I'm a bit better at cleaning, so I think it's okay. But yeah, and then this cleaning lady would come over. We had two spectrums. We had one end was like basically your grandma or your mom would come and be like, "Oh, I love you so much," like little mwah. And she was so nice and sweet, but she would take forever, and she would come in and like chat your ear off, you know? And you're kind of like, damn, like, you know, I don't want to be rude, but clean the fucking house, you know what I mean? Like, I'll chat with you, but damn, you know? And then the other end, we had this lady come in and just start roasting our house. You know, she was like we live in a rental, so it's also like, okay, like, you know, she's like, oh, you chose these handles for the cabinets? Like, bad choice. And we're like, hey, well, we didn't really fucking choose these, you know, like, we weren't here in the reno being like, oh, make sure, you know. But she comes in and she'd just be like, damn, there's a lot of dog hair around here. And we're like, yeah. So, you know, so we just got roasted by, what's the best way? Her name was Alessandra. And she was like, she was just... She was fucking, I really liked her. She was nuts. She would come in and just be like, oh yeah, like we'd like show her our cleaning products and she'd be like, can't use that. Like, that's going to fuck up your countertops. And we're like, what? She's like, trust me. And we're like, okay. And then we show her our vacuum. She's like, that's a shit vacuum. Like, get a better vacuum. We're like, what? So that was pretty fun. I don't know. Yeah, I should go over the new sound drops. What do we got?
Gatorade.
If you've seen the fucking classic DJ Khaled, where he makes a putt and then he doesn't say anything for 5 minutes and then he goes,
Gatorade. Gatorade. Gatorade.
So dumb.
Gatorade. Gatorade.
Gatorade.
Gatorade.
Okay. And then we got one of my personal favorites.
So good and tasty.
Here's the whole thing.
Oh God, it's so good. So good. So good and tasty.
I don't know what it's from some video on the internet of like this fat dude cooking, and he's just making like, it just looks like a shitty sandwich, and he's just fucking nutting the whole time, you know?
Oh God, it's so good. So good. So good and tasty.
He's like, it's like he's just squirting mayonnaise all over this fucking sandy. Yeah. Anyway, those are our new drops, along with the classic. What's the deal with fat guys and sandwiches? Right? And then, of course,
Tell me, friend.
did you like that sandwich that I cooked for you?
Tell me, friend.
Schmaltz, why are you so hairy?
Tell me, friend.
Oh, Gandalf says it. Classic. Anyway, so those are our new drops. Yeah, fucking.
Gatorade. Gatorade. Gatorade.
Sick. Those are our new drops. Lit. No chips. Me and Kaylin have been eating healthy. No chips in the house. What kind of life is that? You know? What kind of life is that? It's like, what would you sacrifice really to be healthy? Would you never have chips again? No. I'm of the camp where I work out now. Me and Kaylin have been working out a lot, you know, getting jacked up. I work out to eat unhealthy. In fact, you know what? I'm going to fucking... Oh, what's so itchy? This is why I work out. Look at this shit. Fuck yeah, dude. Good dog. Look at it. I work out for this. Fucking cheers. Oh, shit, dog. Truly blessed. Blessings. That's why I work out, dude. So I can do this shit. No, he's not into it. He's not a big salt and vinny guy. Word. Yeah. At one point we were working out and we were eating healthy and there were no chips in the house. And I was like, truly, is it worth it? You know, is a 6-pack worth it if you can't have beer and chips? I don't think it is, you know. I think I'm in the camp where it's like, I'd rather just work out and eat this shit, you know. Work out to not be 500 pounds. You know what I mean? If I got a little gut, boom. Classic, you know. Dude, I was in Italy recently, and we were in this club, and I was pretty fucking wasted, and I had my belly out because it's so hot in Italy all the time, and I was like slapping it, and then out of nowhere, I just see this hand, and it slaps my belly, and I look up, and there's like this fat guy, and he's like slapping my belly, and I look at him, and then he slaps his belly, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. And then we're like slapping our bellies, and then I slap his belly, and he slaps mine, and we're going slap for slap on the bellies. Fucking lit. Honestly, a highlight of my life. It's from the UK. Shouts out, nameless belly slapper. Fucking love you, dude. But yeah, what kind of life is that? Bellies are cool. I work out now to eat chips and drink beer, and also so like I can bend over and like be flexible and be strong and like still run and stuff. You know, if I can use my body, bro. You think I want to eat wheatgrass for the next 30 years? No, get fucked. Caitlin puts collagen in her coffee, man. It's so nasty. I cannot. But I mean, shouts out. It's good for her joints and shit. Rock and roll. I took the train recently to. Where did I go? To Ottawa. No, to Toronto. And there are a bunch of Amish on the train. Which is like cheating, you know. Guys fucking wanted horses. Now you're going to hop on the train all of a sudden, you know. Convenient. But apparently they can use technology randomly. I looked up the rules for Amishness recently, like just now, and I can't really see a pattern. It just says kind of like, yeah, well, you know, fuck it. If we really need to use a phone, we will, you know. We're just kind of like, we try to be chill about technology, but they still use electricity and shit, so. I mean, I get it feels like more of a feel it out situation for them than it's like hard, fast rules. Like, it doesn't feel like a kosher, you know, it's like this animal needs to be slaughtered by a rabbi or whatever. It's like, nah, like if you're feeling cold, throw a fucking heater on. You're bored, I don't know, put on Netflix, you know? So it's like, at what point are you Amish versus just like, you know, slightly adverse to technology? Or like, at what point are you Amish versus just like a boomer? Yeah, they were on the train. They were on the train in full fucking Amish gear. And they were talking kind of loudly. You know, I thought they were supposed to be polite and shit. One of them was singing this creepy German lullaby to one of their kids. They were speaking in German, dude. So in Ontario, there's like weird pockets of German, you know, communities. Because of, I don't know, some sketchy World War II shit probably. And these guys were singing a German lullaby. And I wanted to be like, you know, look, Hilda, we don't take kindly to your type around here. No, but it was weird. And I thought they were cheating, you know, but I guess they weren't. Can't cheat if there's no fucking rules to break. Am I right, Amish? God. Can we get a little predictability on what the fuck you're fighting for here? I saw you in a buggy the other day. Now you guys got smartphones, you know. What are we doing? What kind of game are you playing? Bunch of bullshit.
Oh, God, it's so good. So good. So good and tasty.
That's an Amish every time they turn on a light. Strawberries with the green. Strawberries have that little green part on top. Always kind of a pain in the ass to eat around, you know. You're always nibbling it. You're always nibbling it, and then your fingers get all kind of red. And it's just messy. They get sticky, you know. Fuck it. Eat the green. You know, eat the whole thing. Pop it in your mouth. Chew on it. A little bit of fiber. That's good. You know. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You die. No. Not even close. I'm over it. You know? I'm fucking over it. It's like the kiwi. I'm not peeling that with a spoon. I'm just going to eat the whole thing. I can't be fucked as I get older, you know? Because then you eat all these strawberries. If you're not outside, if you're snacking on them, you know, and you don't have a receptacle to deposit your used greenery, now you got some garbage pile of wet, red, sticky green tops. And it's like, I got a whole thing. I got put them in my hand. Now my hand's all sticky. Got to go clean that off, you know, got to find a sink. It's a cascading effect of repercussions, you know. You take off the green top, all right, fingers are dirty. Now the green, you got to put it down. Maybe you put it on the counter. Now the counter's dirty. Now you got a collection of green tops because everybody knows you got to have at least like 10 strawberries, you know. So it's like, fuck it. Just eat it. You know? Easy peasy. It's good. Little strawberry, a little green. It's good. It's a little fiber. Oh. Relationships are hard and work issues. So this is like kind of what I was talking about. Is like your first adult relationship. Like it sounds so stupid, but it's just like, yeah, you have to consider other people's feelings. Other people have feelings, and you need to make sure that you listen to them. Sounds so dumb, but it's like, you know, as like kind of an asshole move on my part, I would dismiss shit a lot. I would be like, that's fucking stupid. I don't fucking, you're dumb. Like, they're stupid, you know? And you can't do that in a relationship. You got to listen to people, you know? And you got to put your ego down. It's difficult, man. And it's just funny because I'm seeing parallels between like some of the new things I'm learning about being in a relationship and my behavior at work. Everybody knows I'm very sensitive, right? Which can be detrimental because I take a lot of things personally. Things that don't need to be taken personally, I take personally. And at work, it kind of came out. You know, I was on a couple projects and I was getting into it with some people because I was like, what the fuck you trying to say? You know, and they'd be like, hey man, like, can you send me these Excel sheets? I'd be like, yeah, Excel sheets. Why don't you fucking lick my ass? You know, just like losing it. You know. But the thing is, like, when it comes to the client, I'd always be super great. When the client would love me, I'd turn on the charm, you know. So all the projects I'm on, the client is like, we love Tom. You guys are great. Like, come back and do work. So then I get my, like, whatever, quarterly review. I don't know, whatever the fuck review. And my boss was basically like, you know, how are things going? And because all the clients were happy, I was like, great. And she's like, well, that's not what I heard. Because, you know, you're getting into it with all these people. And in my head, I was like, well, so what? The clients love me, you know? Which, like, the client shit does matter. But it's the same thing with the relationship where it's like, yo, you can't just be good at the things that you care about. You have to pay attention to the things that other people are caring about, you know, like your partner or your coworkers. You can't just be like, fuck you, coworkers, like you deal with it. You can't just tell people that things aren't important. I would do that. I did that a couple times in meetings. Somebody would be like, I think we need to talk about this. I'd be like, no, we don't. That's not important. And like a lot of times it was, you know, so. So, you know, it's a lesson for me of like, you have to do shit that you don't like. I got in trouble too at work because they were like, you're giving a lot of attitude to like this manager or something. And I was like, yeah, it's because he asked me to do some stupid shit and I didn't want to do it. And they were like, well, it's kind of your job to do that. And I was just like, no. So it was like shit like that. So it was like, you know, I told my manager, I was like, this job is really making me grow up. And she was like, yeah. But, you know, it's the same shit in my relationship where it's like, I don't want to clean the house, but it's like, I have to. It's important to my partner, you know. I don't want to do this dumb shit at work, but I have to because it's important to my teammates or like important to the project or whatever the fuck, you know. So, yeah, I'm 33. Why do you ask? I'm 33. I'm an adult. Why? What would make you think otherwise? Anyway, sick. Okay. Oh my God. Speaking of, I get the Italy trip. Pretty sick. Shouts out to Dickie and Tash, who got married. Beautiful wedding. You know, lovely ceremony, event, venue, vistas, gorgeous. I did stand up at the wedding, which went way better than the last time I did stand up at a wedding. Dickie was actually there the last time I did it. Last time I did stand up at a wedding, I did 15 minutes of material, which I did not have. And I ended up yelling at two ladies in the front row who were eating a cookie and probably making them feel bad. So, could only go up from there, truly. This time I did 5 minutes of material that I did have, and it went really great. The only thing I misjudged, Dickie, he was like, dude, can you do some comedy at my wedding? Like, I'd love to see it. And I was like, yeah, sure. If like you and Tash are cool with it, the bride, I was like, no problem. They were like, yeah, they gave the okay. All I was thinking in that moment was, my friend asked me to do stand-up. I know I have 5 minutes of great material that will definitely kill. Price of hedonism. But I was like, I know I have 5 minutes of material that'll kill. So yeah, no problem. I can do your wedding, like no fucking sweat. I did not stop to think about the content of the material, right? And comparatively, in the Montreal scene, my jokes are fucking tame. Everyone, there's a lot of people of what I call cum shitters in the Montreal scene who get on stage and they go, I came so hard and I fucking shit so hard that I exploded, I don't know. So it's like, compared to that, my shit is tame. But one of my best jokes is a discussion and like a retrospective of how I bought a vibrator because I come too fast and the vibrator was too strong for most ladies, X-rated. You know what I mean? Like, I say it in a kind of a wholesome, fun way, but I mean, it's X-rated. I'm not talking, I don't go graphic. I like euphemisms where I can, and I don't need to talk about it. I fucking nutted, like, it's not graphic, but it is like RX rated. So I'm doing this at the wedding. Would have been fine except for the fucking parents that were there, and thank God it was like mostly just friends of the bride and groom, like young people, but there were two sets of parents. There was the groom's parents and like their friends, so just awkward. The other thing too is like, we're at the wedding and everyone is like talking about how the groom smokes weed, and we're all from Canada. Weed has been legal for what, like 4 years, 5 years? I don't know, right? But they're like, groom smokes weed, like, oh, sorry mom, but like, and I'm like, like, what the fuck year is this, man? Like, 2024, everybody smokes weed. Like, it's now about mushrooms, like, it's about mushroom. Like, everyone's doing MD. Like, come on, what are we fucking doing here? So I said that too, and I think it was okay. But anyway, it did go great. It went great, but I just forgot to factor in that small detail. So Italy was great. Talking about growing up, though, shouts out to my cousin, Austin. I love you. But this fucker, he hits me with this shit. We're hanging out just like at the villa where we were staying. Comes out of nowhere, just cold open. He goes, yo, Tom, do you have hepatitis B or C? I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't think so. Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? Austin, So I go, I don't know. I don't think so. And he goes, okay, cool. So, like, you think I can use your razor? And it's like, okay. First of all, no, that's gross. I don't really want to share a razor with you. But fine, if you're stuck, go for it. Don't start it with, do you have hepatitis B or C? You start it with, yo, man, I'm really sorry. I forgot my razor. I know it's gross. Can I use yours, right? You don't come in, because if you start it with like, yo, do you have hepatitis B or C? It's what it's doing, and I only know this because I do this, and Caitlin's got mad at me for doing it, is it's like you're not acknowledging the fuck up, right? You're not going, I forgot my thing. This is my bad. You're glossing over that to be like, like, you're glossing over it to be like, the only thing that needs addressing in this scenario are like the logistics. In this case, Tom, do you have a plasma transmitted disease, right? She's like, no, the thing that needs addressing is gross, dude. You're asking for a gross thing. Like, you need to give me an acknowledgement of that. And I won't speak for Austin, but I know I do it because I hate feeling shame. You know, in my family, it was like, there was a lot of like shame and guilt, you know, Catholicism, gang, you know, but it was like, oh, like, ooh, you messed up, bad, you know, failure, you know what I mean? I love you, mom and dad. It wasn't like that, you know, it wasn't like failure, but it was like, I don't know how to articulate it, but there was like shame and guilt. So it's like me admitting that I did like admitting that I made a mistake, admitting that I'm wrong is hard. I don't like it because what happens is I feel really bad about myself when I do it, right? Like it makes me, if I do something wrong or I need to say that I did something wrong, it makes me feel really bad about myself. I feel shame. I feel like bad about my existence when it shouldn't be that. It should be like, oh, I just made a mistake. This mistake is outside of my self-worth. You know, that's what it should be, right? But for me, it's not. It's one of the things I'm working on it. In therapy, which is I'm back in therapy, got a new therapist because my old one, you know, I liked her because she was like very, what, you want to see that? Good boy. I liked her because she was very, you know, like she was very scientific. She was like, look at this animal. Mwah. You're a good boy, yeah. Yeah, you little dirty boy. What are you doing? What's happening? Oh, he's doing a big stretch. Oh, who's a sweet guy? Oh, he's coming to get a little cuddle. Oh, maybe not. Oh, what's happening? Oh, don't do a butt stamp. There we go. Oh, you sweet boy. Yes, he's such a sweet boy. Oh, he's just a good boy. Anyway, so my old therapist, I liked her because she was like very clinical and she would reference studies all the time. And it was like, we talked about emotions, obviously, but it was like very much like mathematical or logical. But it got to the point where she was like new, right? She was young. She was probably like around my age. And it got to the point where I was like, it just felt like she was just reading from a book, basically. You know, she was doing the equation. She was like, this equals this plus this. And I do want that. I do really like that. I really see the value of like basically the scientific method in psychoanalysis. I think for me personally, I like it because it removes it makes me feel more normal. It removes like the personal nature of your brain and your psychosis, and it just puts it as like, look, this is a chemistry thing, this is a biochemistry thing, this is not about you, you're not a bad person, right? It like alleviates the guilt because it's like this is a product of environment and like cultural conditioning and et cetera, et cetera. You know, it's just, it takes out all the personal weight and the like responsibility to and like guilt and all that, and just like, let's just look at this clinically. So I think that's like super valuable. But at some point it's like, well, I need, you know, I have questions now. Like we've done some of the analysis. I have questions. I need some perspectives that I haven't thought of myself. You know, I need someone with kind of worldview or like, you know, new ways to look at things, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. And I just felt like she was like very clinical. Like she couldn't really provide that angle. She could just do kind of the formulas. So anyway, so now I went 100 degrees the opposite, and I got a recommendation for this therapist who is like fucking hippy dippy, right? And I go to her place, and she's very nice, and she has magic wands for sale. And you know, I get in there and we're doing our first session, and I'm like telling her, and you know, we're going over my history and all this, blah blah blah. And then she starts to talk about some hippy dippy shit, you know, like my chakras and my energy and like whatever, my fucking alignments and Reiki and fucking homeopathy, you know, whatever. And I'm kind of like with it, I guess. Like I'm like trying to keep an open mind. I'm like, yeah, wait, you know, she came highly recommended from a friend. So I was like, okay, well, if she was recommended, then she's probably pretty good. So I'm like trying to chill and not be an asshole. But then I see these like sticks behind her, and I'm like, what are those? And she's like, those are magic wands. With a straight face, she's like, those are magic wands. And I was like, what do they do? And she's like, they help bring your desires into reality, right? She's like, I sell them. And I was like, okay. She's like, do you want to witness the magic right now? I'm like, yep. And she's like, all right, okay. So I'm taking magic wand. She's like, close your eyes. Then she takes me through like a guided meditation. And she's like, envision your goals in the universe. And like envision this and da-da-da. Then we go through all this thing, and then she's like, okay, open your eyes. And then I'm like, okay. And then she's like, now draw a rectangle with the magic wand, you know. She's like, envision this as a screen on the universe. And then she's like, now take the magic wand and throw your desires on the screen, you know. And she's like, say, I will be a magic wand or something. Like, say, I will be my desires, you know. And I'm like, I will be my desires. I throw it on there. I get into it, you know. I'm not trying to be a dick. Like, I fucking do it. And then we do this whole thing. And she goes, you know, what do you think? And I was like, it's pretty good. And she's like, yeah, that's just one of the things you can do it for. You know, she's like, I just made that up right now. And I was like, yeah. You just made that up? Yeah, that's crazy, man. You say you made that up, you know, because that seems constructed. I don't know, you know. And then I go, you sell these? She goes, yeah. And I go, oh, for what? For like $500? And she's like, nah, for like $200. I was like, holy shit. She's like, yeah, they used to be more, but they're on sale right now. And I was like, oh my God. They're literally sticks with, you know, beautiful doodads glued to them. And I don't want to be too mean because she is my therapist. So, she, you know, I don't want to make her hate me. But it really threw me for a loop. And I do want to say, for the record, I'm keeping an open mind, you know, and she believes in this shit, so I'm not trying to fuck with her beliefs. So shouts out. And also, I hope she doesn't see this because that would make therapy pretty tough. So anyway, Coach Neen, dude, shouts out the Ladder app. This is just purely a shout out, I think, because I'm on the Ladder app and I got this dope coach, Coach Neen, fucking ex-drug addict, reformed. Now he like works out a ton. He's like a pro skater, fucking rad dude, positive dude. So Coach Neen, if you see this, love you. I think that's it. I think we're good for today. It feels like a good step back into it. Welcome to the new Things I Hate studio, you know, set. We're here with young boy McGee. Schmaltz. Schmaltz, speak. No. He's trying to chill. He's probably pissing me. He's like, dude, stop fucking with me, you know? But he's getting good pets, so it's okay. Things I Hate 65. This was it. And, yeah, you know.
Gatorade.
Things I Hate fucking 65. Back in the shit. Gonna do 3 clips a week. I think I'm gonna do an episode every week. So, no, I think I'm doing an episode every week. So, I got a producer now. Fucking A. I'll see you guys next weekend. New episodes drop probably like Tuesday or Wednesday. I got to figure it out, but probably Tuesday or Wednesday every week. Love you guys. Bye.